I'm here with Jelly for a ride outside. So we spent just a little bit of time, kind of as part of the warm-up. We actually worked on some tying. We did just a little bit of walking with the groundwork, working on the connection piece with standing a little bit longer. So like walking, stop and stand, walk forward again. So today I kept the ground piece pretty simple. Good boy. And walk. And I'm just gonna let him walk off on a loose rein. So out here, on the times that I'm just letting him, have the freedom to walk around, explore a little bit if he wants. The one thing I'm gonna keep off limits is eating on the side. I just don't want that to become a habit and become a draw for him. So I'm going to work in the same way that we did in the last lesson with the work sessions and then the just the free exploring sessions. Jelly with me, and I'll use the same cues so that they stay consistent. So a big part of what is going to become the cue for its work time is just the way that I pick up my body, the way that I'm sitting. I picked up the reins, took a little bit of contact. Good. Good boy. Good boy. And again, really working the quality of the walk here with the forward movement as well as stretching. We had a big old fly land on him just before we turned the cameras on. Good boy. So I'm going to show you here at the walk how I'm going to incorporate a few more changes of bend at the walk. So we had talked about that in the lesson of using that as part of the difficulty. Increasing the difficulty by doing more of those changes of bend. Good boy. Good boy. So here he's leaning a little bit to the right, and there I just really kept myself centered, kept the contact. Good boy. And then I released there when he went slightly forward and down with his neck, softened through his jaw, but also changed the way that he was carrying himself and took a little bit more of the inside bending. Good. And free. And now I'm just going to let him go on a long rein here for a moment. I'm actually going to, I think, encourage him if he wants to stop, or if he wants to wander, I'll let him wander for a minute. Again, just keeping the grazing around the sides as one of the pieces I'm going to just keep off limits out here. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick him back up. With me. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So one of the things that I do to kind of create the expectation of keeping the pace is when he does start to really slow down when we're in this work mode, is you'll notice that I'll come in with a quick tap with my leg and also often a quick tap with the whip. So it's a reminder for him to keep the pace. Good boy. And it's also a little bit of sensitizing to the forward aids. Good boy. And they're straightening him out a little bit. He wanted to lean to the inside again, this time going the opposite direction, but still a pattern of leaning to the inside. There, the same thing. I just closed my fingers on the inside rein when he wanted to want to counter bend and let his rib cage rotate in, creating that feeling of falling on the inside shoulder. Once again there, I had just closed my fingers, lifted the inside rein slightly so that it just blocked that movement, and when he straightened back out, then it essentially released automatically. So it's again that thought of more creating a limit and holding the frame. Good boy. Same thing here, kept my fingers on the outside rein, little bump with my inside leg when he started to want to come in. Good boy. Good boy. And then I'm going to free and just give him a little time on a long rein again. So working the walk in this way, before we were just working on the kind of the circles, basically the patterns, and now I'm working on adding more changes of bend, changes of direction, which increases the stepping under a bit, so we're kind of working on that strength piece. And it's also going to help with just in general the steering too. And it is fascinating how much he does change, and not nearly as quick it seems like to go into kind of that exploring mode once he's under saddle. With me, I'm going to pick him up again. Good boy. And trot. So I like to go in trotting right into a nice forward trot. And I'll be honest, the saddle is not the most comfortable for me, so I have to really kind of fight to stay within my balance. Good boy. But what I want to do is try to think about keeping as consistent of a rhythm as possible. Right there, again, took a, closed my inside fingers, closed the inside rein against his neck when he wanted to fall in. Tap for more forward. Good. So here at the trot, I'm going to tend to work more on the bigger patterns for right now, kind of following the outside and getting the rhythm here before I start doing the changes of bend and changes of direction at the trot like I was at the walk. Same thing here, close the inside rein, tap, tap, little half halt, tap, tap, good, and then soften as he opened up his trot. Good boy. Same thing here, a little close of my inside fingers, lifting the inside rein, right back into it. Good boy. Good boy. I'm going to go ahead and circle here, help keep the inside bending right here where he likes to lose it. Tap, tap. Good, and walk. And free. And then give him a little time on a long rein. All right, I'm going to change directions. We're going to do a little bit of the trot session, same kind of format going this way. Good boy. Good boy. And I really like this forward walk. With me. Good. Good. And trot. Here I'm taking a feel. Just a little no, no, yes. So he trotted off nice and forward, but he trotted off hollow. And I want to keep shaping that we find this nice rhythm, this nice pattern of movement that we can maintain better at the trot. Like right here. Good. Good. Good boy. Good, little half halt right there as I came out of the corner to ask him to stretch a bit more. It's nice working out here as well because our footing is quite different out here than it is in the indoor. Footing's quite different even from this higher end where it's not quite as heavy down to that other end. Good boy. And walk. Good boy. Free. So I'm wanting to work in those small sessions and just gradually make them longer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick him up again here. We're going to go out, and this time we're going to start to incorporate in some of the poles as well with me. Good. Good boy. And trot. I'm going to do that transition just a few more times. Back to walk. Trot. Back to walk. And trot. Good boy. Again, I kept a little contact through the transition just so there was even a little bit of shaping there for when he would tense. I would take a little more. I would soften when he would start to stretch. Good boy. He did a nice job figuring that out. Here, a little close with the left rein. He was starting to lean left. Ask him for a bit more trot. Good. Here, thinking nice and straight. Close the inside rein. Good boy. Close the inside rein. Good boy. Canter. Good boy. And trot. Good. Here, half halt, waiting for a little more soft to the jaw on the top line. Closing the outside rein as he wants to drift out. There, and walk. Walking forward. And free. And give him a quick little break here. And that's kind of how I worked with the canter transition before, is I didn't put a lot of focus on it, but I just kind of asked for it in the midst of doing some other things. With me. So picking him up again, very clear change in how I hold my body. I think about lengthening up my front line a bit more, taking a feel of the reins. Energizing the walk before we go into trot. Little contact here, good. Releasing on that little softening through his jaw and reach out. A little bit more outside rein as he started to let his weight go too much to the outside. So here I'm just going to work the walk until I feel like he's coming through and a bit steadier at the walk. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and ask for trot. Half halt here, he's getting a little rushing, good. And that was actually a really nice response to that half halt. So I'm going to turn and come around over poles. Holding just a little bit of my posting to help him balance coming down that turn. Here I'm going to tap a little. You saw I had to really kind of keep the frame to shuttle him straight. So when he started to go crooked, I did make big moves with my reins, but I just closed my fingers and thought about sending him straight through the reins. Same thing here, straight. Good boy. We're gonna come to that one more time. Good boy. Good boy. Here I'm giving a little with my inside rein, so I'm just taking a bit, encouraging a bit of the inside bend, and then giving forward with the rein. Little half halt here as he gets a bit hollow. Good boy. Canter. Good boy. Trot. Here he's a little on his forehand, so I really think about keeping that length up the front of my body. Create the frame with my hands. Back to walk. A little more forward at the walk. There. And free. And I think that was a good place to end the session for him in here. We got more forward over the poles, more straight over the poles, actually, most importantly. Got a little canter transition both directions. That was no big deal. And again, I always like to stop before I think I might hit the point where we'd have a bit of a problem. If I can keep kind of lengthening it without ever having to really butt up against him getting resistant, I like to try to find that progression.